Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out TumbleSeed. A little bit of an odd name for a game, but we'll work with it. This is out on the Switch the day you'll be seeing this actually, since I do have an embargo on this one. Not that much to see in the menu. You can change your volumes, your HD rumble, and your dead zones. Again, HD rumble didn't really seem to have anything of an important effect. Dead zones is actually kind of nice because it lets you determine how sensitive your analog sticks are, but I've been leaving it on about the default setting and it seems to be okay. So there are also leaderboards, both online and local leaderboards, and you can see all the times and scores I've got there. I've been playing for about an hour at this point. I think a little more than an hour, but I don't have a specific clock. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that. So there's not that much to see in the menu at this point. There might be more modes that you get later on, but I don't think so. You've got a tutorial and a daily challenge, which are pretty self-explanatory if you note that this game is a little bit like a roguelike. So if that doesn't give you the rough idea, then basically the levels are randomly generated and you have to work your way through them every time, and if you die, you go back to the very beginning. There are a couple more roguelite elements other than that, but we'll get to them shortly. So you've got that first hut that I went into. That first hut that I went to gives you quests. Pretty simple stuff. Kill a few things, get a few things at the same time. The one I'm on right now is have 5 hearts. You start with 3, so it's a bit difficult. That house right there gives you what appears to be some sort of lore about the game's world, but I'm not entirely sure. It might be something helpful, I don't know, but who knows. Apparently, via those quests that you get, you apparently unlock the abilities to... You unlock the ability to teleport up to later levels, but I haven't gotten any of those yet, despite the fact that I've fulfilled several quests and I've made it to the second part twice already, so you'll find a reason as to why I find this kind of frustrating in a moment, but right now, well, let's just play some actual TumbleSeed. Now, the controls in this game are extremely simple. You use both your analog sticks to balance this little green line here, and this little green line has the TumbleSeed on it, and yes, your character's name is actually the TumbleSeed. They refer to him as TS, or her, or then again, it's a seed, isn't it? It wouldn't really have a gender, whatever. So yeah, the idea is you got to use both your analog sticks in up or down motions in order to maneuver this seed around. And of course you have you have holes going on in the field, like those old wooden tables that you'd put the marble on. When you put the marble on them, you rolled the table around like that to try and get the damn marble through. Same basic concept for this game, also the same amount of frustration, because avoiding rolling into the holes is a bit of a pain in the ass, but even worse is that you have all these bloody enemies to deal with. They're all in different shapes and sizes and behave in different ways. The only way that I have to take these guys out right now is via getting an attack power up, which I just did. You come across these little diamond things as you go along, and you can select one of multiple power-ups that you can use when you roll over the top of them. Like the one I'm using right now is the, don't remember the exact name, but it's there in the menu. And the idea is, it's the power-up that lets you attack. You can only be using one power-up at a time, however, so you only have a choice between... That's weird, I don't usually see these. Oh no, it's just a free spring, okay. So you only have the choice between a couple of your power-ups at any one time, which sorta kinda sucks, because there's a lot of things you want to be doing at the same time in this game, and you can only really do one at a time, and these little things, they're one use. They expire, so yeah, have fun with that. I have no way to get out of this without getting hurt, which is a massive pain in the neck. And, yep, I'm dead. That's it. Like, I just lost my last heart. You get 3 tries and you're done, but there are things in this game, even in the first area, that can kill you instantly. So, like, if you see the little spikes that come up out of the ground, those kill you instantly, and there's nothing you can do about it except, well, avoid them, obviously. You can see that my maximum is about halfway through the second area there. It appears that the game has 4 areas, but it's a roguelike, it probably has 5. And we get sent right back down here to start again. And this is where the big major problem that the game has comes into play. And that is that the game is really freaking slow. Now, I could realistically accept this, you know, under normal circumstances, but this is a roguelike where they expect you to play through the first stage more often than not. And, I mean, sure, you unlock teleporters later on, but even now, like, even just like an hour in, I'm really starting to get bored of this first stage because of how slow you move and how slow you have to move, more or less. Mainly because you roll so goddamn fast with as little provocation as humanly possible. It's a frustrating system to deal with just because of how often you have to be rebalancing yourself. You have to stop and and get yourself back into balance more often than not before you actually try any sort of difficult moves. Meanwhile, you want to actually be going for all these bloody things that are on the field, all these all these crystals you can get that let you do different things. Like I've got a few power-ups right now. Like this one will let you put down a checkpoint so you don't have to go tumbling down and losing hearts all the way, but you will lose at least one heart on the way down. And this one here, they'll give you extra hearts. And I'm about to roll into something which will actually let me pick up an extra power-up, which might be another attack, or it might be something that can help me out. But the problem is, these all cost an absolute freaking ton of these crystals to put down onto the ground. And you have to be constantly swapping between things like checkpoints and trying to get things that you actually can use to attack instead of wasting your bloody time. You can also use a room in there to test out your power-ups for free, which, to be fair, I really should have done just to show off how this works, but I guess I just don't get that sort of luck, do I? And I just went straight down that, and I get to tumble all the way back to the beginning because I didn't have a checkpoint. Well, I had a checkpoint right there, but, you know, I didn't have a checkpoint that was close, so I have to work my way all the way back up this again. And all the shit is gone, so I basically just have to roll as fast as I can up there. And it just, after playing the game and getting to, like, the second area, I understand that it's meant to be a roguelike, but it's so frustratingly slow. Like, even games like Binding of Isaac, where the basement, for example, is arguably the least interesting level in the entire game, it's still a massive pain. It's not that much of a massive pain to play through that part of the game again, because it gives you stuff that's interesting. And it just gives you stuff to fight, stuff to do that isn't an intense bore. This game does make you go up against all this shit again, and it's boring as sin, this entire first section. I'd love to get up to the second section, but apparently I'm having no luck. And the second section, honestly, isn't that much better. It's only got a different set of enemies and a different color. That's basically all there is to it. You don't really make any progress in the traditional sense. In a roguelike like The Binding of Isaac or Shiren the Wanderer or something like that, you have some sort of persistent thing going on that you can, you actually have more than a persistent thing. You have lots of persistent things going on that you can use to keep yourself motivated, have something to do along the way. In this game, no, it's just that one quest. One usually surprisingly hard quest, and that's about it, to unlock teleporters to the next level, which I am thoroughly wishing I had right now. So, when you die, you lose the power-ups you get. So, as you can see, I'm back down to the basic 4 again, which is a pain in the ass, I gotta say. The game does have lore, but it's not so much impenetrable, but it's that sort of lore which is like, okay, this doesn't really make any sense. Can I get back to playing the game now? Presented in 12 individual dialogue boxes that you have to skip every single time you want to listen to the damn thing, and it's just, So it's not particularly interesting. There's no real plot. It's literally just monsters have created these holes going up our hill, and we're the only one who can save the land. Fuck me, I thought I was out of the way of that. Yes, note, if you don't have any bloody checkpoints that far down, you can fall down that hole and basically instantly die. It's entirely possible to instantly die on your way down. But of course that means you have to get checkpoints, but that means you can't save up crystals for more powerful weapons, but that also means you can't actually use those weapons if you're trying to save up the crystals for the more powerful weapons, because this game's balancing is just an exercise in frustration. Which is kind of funny, considering that actually applies in more ways than one. The levels are also procedurally generated, which I gotta admit, I'm not a fan of. Not for this game in particular. It just seems a bit too on the nose for my personal taste. This game feels like it could work great if they were doing hand-built levels. Hand-built levels in this game might actually work really well. I could imagine, like, having only access to a specific set of power-ups, maybe having a different sort of pickup system so that... Flail flower? Okay, I'll take it. I haven't seen this one before. But I could see this game working as just a sort of preset sort of thing. Where you... Quest complete? What? Oh, yeah. I forgot this is how I cheated it last time as well. So, whenever you enter this, it gives you infinite health, and when you have infinite health, it counts as having more than 5 health. I guess that's a bug that they wanted to fix. But yeah, as you can see, this flail is useless because you need to be really close to the enemies that you want to use it on, and if the levels aren't generated that way, well, you can't do it. Having a level where... Like, imagine a pre-constructed level where all the enemies were really close to shit like that. So you could do something along the lines of, get through this handcrafted level using only the flail attack. That would be an interesting concept, but unfortunately this game doesn't seem to want to do that. It just seems to want to... Oh, fuck. It just seems to... Oh, god damn it, I forgot those fucking things charge. It just seems to want to flail along with its randomness, and I don't think it works for the game in the slightest. I'm not sure how much of a fan I am of the minimalistic art style. It's okay, it does the job, and everything that's dangerous stands out from everything that's not dangerous. So, you know, points for being functional. But nothing about it really stands out that makes me particularly impressed by it. But I'll let it skirt by on the fact that it's actually good for the game. You know, good enough for me. And the sound isn't particularly noteworthy as well. In fact, I turned it off after a bit just because I wanted to focus on the bloody rolling, but you know, good luck to me on that. It's just the slow resetting of the things themselves. What do I mean by the things themselves? Just the tumbling itself. It just seems they just seem a bit slow to move. I find myself overcorrecting a lot in this game with the movement, and it's kind of frustrating. Just because how much tiny corrections you need to do in order to make it work properly. Like, I understand that's part of the concept, but really? I understand that's part of the concept, but it just frustrates. It really does. I'll try and get to the second zone, but I can't promise anything just because that's the way this game works. I might end up just being surprised. God, if I want to get an entire bloody, if I want to get a heart, I have to get 4 of these things. Like, look, I still need to get another thing, and that means I've lost all the... Well, I haven't lost all the crystals, but I've spent 4 of the crystals that I collected. So, yeah, there are other things in the other towns. Like, there is, like, a little challenge thing, which is, like, as if you get all 5 of the doodads in this little procedurally generated clusterfuck of an obstacle course, fuck me. If you can collect all the doodads in this obstacle course, you can keep all the money you get on the way, and there's a bank card which is supposed to give you back 1.5 times the amount of crystals you give in when you see him the next time, but when I saw him again, it was like he completely forgot that I gave him the crystals to begin with the first time. It was weird. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is. I have no idea what Antidote does. This game doesn't have very much in the way of text, which is kind of annoying. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll try out the missile route just as a demonstration, because that's what these portals up here are for, a demonstration. Alright, so I put the crystals in there, and the missile root fires off a missile that attacks something in the room for me. Okay. And then the missile is spent, so I must work my way up to the next thing, and then give another 2 crystals for 1 missile. 1 missile that does a decent amount of damage, but it's still 1 crappy missile. You know, the more I think about it, the more I think this game really would have done better with handcrafted levels. I really do think that. Just, it seems to be the case the more and more I play it. You can put the enemies in interesting situations. You can put weapons. Like, you could give the player, like, different weapons and let them use them instead of having to rely on all these different crystals. You could have unique challenge modes. You could have all sorts of stuff like that, but they just seem to be... They just seem to be rather annoying about it, honestly. Put checkpoint down just to be safe. I don't trust myself in this bit here. Look at all these fucking holes that I have to weave around, and that bloody guy is going to come straight for me if I get too close to him, so I have to go around to the left. Unfortunately, there's a bloody landmine there. See that little thing that's sunken away in that hole there? Yeah. And I just fell down the hole, but thankfully, I get to go back to that checkpoint I just made. But now I have one of these homing things way too fucking close to me for comfort. And I can't run into that because that's an instant kill, so... I just need to... Just try and leg it? Like, that's all I can really do. Not much else I can do except try and run away as fast as humanly possible. What's that? There we go. There's the thing to the second level. Unfortunately, I might not make this. Oh, I know I'll make it. No, I won't. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Made it. Okay. Into the spring, please. Thank you. Oh, that's new. What's this? I assume it's just a Wheel of Fortune. Well, usually there's like a speech bubble next to this guy to be like, to explain to me what the hell's going on, but I'm not seeing anything, which is annoying as shit. And, yep, I just bet another crystal. Even weirder, most of the buttons in this game require you to hold still on the button for a few seconds to use it. Like this one here, well, not this one here. That's just weird. I don't know why they've taken away the long press for buttons. That would be very useful to have. Free open plot right here. What can I do with it? Well, I can get myself closer to another heart, which will be useful in Area 2. There's the banker again, but, is that meant to be a joke? That might be meant to make a joke. I don't understand. I mean, if you're trying to make a joke about modern day economics, why do it in a game where you're controlling a fucking TumbleSeed? What's the point of that? You can also get these sorts of things, spend 5 crystals to pop out holes instead of falling, but you lose them when you get hit, which is annoying. Give up 2 of your powers and get 1 in return, but I don't have 2 powers to give away. And there's stuff up here as well. I don't know what this does. But honestly, I just find the core gameplay too much of a pain in the ass to bother with, honestly. I find it slow, boring, and rather frustrating when it comes to having to maneuver your way around all these sorts of levels and stuff like that. Let's go on to the second segment. Oh look, this time it's raining. And I really shouldn't have put a checkpoint down there, because it's not really going to help me out if I fall into a hole. See, I'm being attacked from all sides now. I'm being followed by these bats, and because of the way I was sloped, when I got hit, it redirected where my guy was going to fall, and I ended up rolling straight into a damn hole. So, that is mostly my fault, but it's still frustrating as hell having to deal with that. So, yeah, that was a look at TumbleSeed. I can't recommend it. I find it to be too boring and frustrating to really bother with. another little weird thing just before I forget. I've completed this quest. So yeah, I've completed the quest. Now if I back away, he won't let me have another one until the next life. But I can just go back to the main menu. Or hell, I might even just be able to restart. And he'll let me take another quest anyway, so I don't get why he insists on making you wait. But yeah. See? New quest. Reach the forest camp. I'm pretty sure I've been there like 3 times. Why is that a quest? Christ. So yeah, I find it dull, I find it boring, and I find it frustrating. Just because of the way it controls, and the way it handles, and some of the things it decides to do with the gameplay, and I feel like this concept is a good idea, but they should have made it so that the levels are all pre-constructed. They should have found a way to make that work, because that would have been a way more entertaining than a procedural generation sort of thing. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I don't want to play it anymore. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. You can come here and just change your options and stuff. Nothing too out of the ordinary, so... That was a look at TumbleSeed. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.